Grandma's cupboard. If all words in the dictionary were required to have pictures to go with them, there would be a picture of Grandma's cupboard. It was your standard cupboard. They don't much exist today in the way it did, though. Not by the fact it was longer or that it had many, many shelves. No, Grandma's cupboard was different because it had stored and shaped my life behind its door. From as frequent as weekly or with longer spans in between, me and my siblings would enter, shut the door behind us, and see how we have grown. There were marks on the wall behind the door, showing the height of our father, aunts, and uncle, displaying how tall they were at different times in their lives. It, in a way, became a competition between us siblings and against our family to see who was bigger. Even as we grew older, we would check ourselves against the marks on the wall. A little further into Grandma's cupboard was what started my journey into and through life. There within laid boxes of comic books. They varied with who they were aimed at. Classic horror, Richie Rich, Wendy the Good Witch, Archie, and a few superhero ones. I learned to use my imagination, to dream. I escaped to different worlds, different situations. I would escape to a place where I was a hero, sidekick, friend, detective, doctor, or just a plain everyday kid. The tales could be average, everyday situations, or scary, mysterious, suspenseful, or heroic. In almost every book, at the end, the good guy was victorious. Some were just part of a larger story, to be continued. What would happen next? I would draw out in my head thoughts of what if. Most of the times, when I read the next issue, I found out I was correct in my guessing. Sometimes, though, I was met with a surprise, the unexpected. How could this happen? Why? What happens next? I put myself in the stories, imagining how I would react. What would I do? As I grew older, much like with the marks, I would revisit the comics. I found that, as with the comics, I was evaluating my life and decisions in a similar way. My imagination still sparked, still dreaming. I could be any of these characters, helping others, out on missions, being a hero. Much like in the books, a lesson was learned, and I was even taught right and wrong. So, if you were to open a dictionary, you would simply see Grandma's cupboard. Me, I would see a magical place, a place I learned about life and growing. To this day, I can measure myself by Grandma's cupboard, and like the stories within, to be continued.